this, that shouldn't be like that, and on it goes. But then, when something really huge comes along, the sort of thing that knocks us to our knees and takes our breath away, like the death of a child, like a cancer diagnosis, isn't it in those moments that we become present for life in a way that just was not available before? The sort of thing that takes our breath away, and all of the arguing, I want this, it should be like that, eventually stops. And then over time, there may even be this opening of a window, of a door that lets in a light that allows us to experience the universe with awe, even appreciation, with mystery. And we see the whole of creation as it fits together like the song says. See, it's more than a happy song. It's the realization of, oh my God, the complexity and the beauty of life. It's not just happy and peppy. It's a mystery. And I think it's really, really possible for us human beings to see that way, to see, Mother, Father, God, how great thou art. However, not so easy to see when I'm looking at and looking for security, comfort, easy, quick answers. It's reminding me of another friend I was doing research with, asking about Thanksgiving and appreciation. He said to me, I'm getting pretty good. I've got to the point where I'm pretty much seeing the good in everything most of the time. And I thought, well, that's great. And then I caught myself in the agreement, and I thought, do you know, if you want to be free, most of the time is not going to be good enough for you. Oh, it's good. But isn't it in exactly those times when you can't see the good and you can't feel the gratitude? Isn't it exactly in those times where you are meeting your life's fullest, best learning possibility and potential? Isn't it right there? That's right. And I think it's also the case that it's true for me, so I'll say for me, when I run from those moments towards comfort and beauty, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I know when I'm running, when I'm moving away from what is not easy, and I'm pulling back from tough situations, it's in that moment that I'm losing some of myself, my best possibilities. When I move away from the things that in my mind that have truly changed me, I miss what they can only give to me. If I don't find a way to honor them as part of the infinite greatness, I miss something. And then when I do find that place to take it all in without fight, without argument, to accept, then it's in that surrender to what is that you and I become incredibly beautiful, incredibly vulnerable. And in that vulnerability, our power comes like our gratitude, unbidden, natural, not when we're fighting the world and trying to push things around. It's just the opposite. I was talking many years ago to a man who had to have a limb removed to save his life. And at the beginning of it, all he could see was the loss. And he was really traumatized, who wouldn't be? Until at some point he came to a switch in realization. He said, nobody wants to automatically or spontaneously say, thank you for those moments of being smacked on the side of the head by life. It doesn't come right out of our mouth ordinarily. We don't feel natural gratitude for being rough-handled by life. He said, except that I realized that this rough blow was exactly what brought me to life. And I just had to sit with it. Didn't have that experience, but as I sat listening to him, I thought he realized that at the beginning he thought The limb was being removed to save his life, but in the end, he saw the removal of the limb is what truly brought his life out. And he got to a place where he could say that he was truly grateful for the turn of events, for how it worked out. Because things that he had previously taken for granted now were a miracle to accomplish. And now he saw that he had to bring down all kinds of walls that he had held up to keep himself separate and unique and independent. And he saw then that truly, with this that he called his gift, that there was no way he would ever believe again that there's only one way to do life. And a tremendous gratitude came up in him. So I've been thinking about that. Seeing life another way as part of my gratitude practice, because maybe I'm too fixed. Maybe there's something I have to put down to see more possibilities. Maybe for you, is there something you need to put down? A wall, an argument, a resentment, an attitude that'll open up a view that you haven't yet seen? I'm not saying we need to lose a limb in order to have more gratitude in our life. I'm just asking the question as I speak in my research to my friends. I'm asking the question now of myself, is there another way? Have I started taking something for granted, somebody? Is there another way to see life other than the one that you're so sure of? Try, for example, on the exact opposite. I mean, if you're not grateful for something right now, there's something in your life you're not grateful for, ask yourself, who would I be if I were grateful for it? What might I see if I called that thing great? Here's a story our guitar player, Tom Yanes, asked me to repeat from last year. One day, the father of a wealthy family took his son to the country to show him how poor people lived so that the son could better appreciate the great wealth and privilege of the family. So the wealthy children were hosted on a farm by a poor family. On the way home, the father asked his son, smugly, so, how was the trip? And the boy said forlornly, great. So, not hearing else, the father said, did you see the difference between how we live and how they live? The son said, yes. Nudging some more, he said, so tell me, what did you learn from the trip? Asked the father, and the son said quietly, well, I saw that we have one dog and they have four. We have a pool that reaches to the middle of our garden, and they have a creek that has no end. We have imported lanterns in our garden, and they have the stars at night. Our patio reaches to the front yard, and they have the whole horizon. We have a small piece of land to live on, and they have fields that go beyond our sight. We have servants who serve us, but they serve each other. We buy our food, and they grow theirs. We have walls around our property to protect us, and they have friends to help each other. The boy's father was speechless. And in the silence that followed, the son added quietly, it really helped me to understand what poor means. Is there another way? If there is something you think you're poor in right now, try on the exact opposite and call it highly favored. And who would you be if you lived like that? I think there is something in us that sees the entire world, wants to see the entire world like this, infinite possibility of good. And it's not always, for me, it's not always easy to do because my personality is telling me there is only one way that this should work out. I have to be with that person. This thing has to turn out that way. This interest rate has to, and it's And my personality says, if I don't get my way, it's not going to be good. Do you know that place? The place where our thinking is like concrete and you can't shift to see the other way because the personality has got it. See, the personality is that part in you that loves imagining what it would like to be grateful for.